Power Forgotten. So this is the magical DPS story. Hello, did Barukeva send you to help recover our stolen treasure? Yup. Thank the heavens, and judging by your accountments, you learned the arcane arts, yes? So we need your power and wisdom. Wow. Should be told, it is wisdom that we require most. You see, even though the treasure has been guarded by our people for generations, we know little of its true nature. Oh. In ages past, the forests of our homeland were plagued with terrible beasts, a constant source of fear and danger. To combat this menace, our mages spent many moons researching the treasure known as the Perch of the Apex. Upon unlocking its secrets, they were able to drive the monsters from the woods, bringing peace at last. With the threat all but eradicated, our forebears forbade any use of the treasure and enshrined it within the village. As the years passed, we slowly forgot what it was to live in fear. Yet as our struggles fade into memories, the stories surrounding the Perch of the Apex became legend, then myth. Now none living are certain of its true power. Yet the peace was shattered by a member of the Passage of the Unbound. The villain wheeled his way into a trust, then stole upon my husband, the treasurer's appointed guardian, catching him unaware with a terrible blow that left him unconscious. He has yet to awaken, so my daughter, Tipika, has set forth to retrieve what was stolen. Unlike her father, she has no skill in the arcane arts and chose the path of the sword. There's nothing wrong with that. That's why I've been seeking someone with the knowledge she lacks. Should the ancient power be unleashed, please, if you could find it in your heart to help, Tipiki, I would be forever grateful. I should have had coffee before this. Consider it done. Oh, thank you, thank you. Now, our only clue to the thief's whereabouts is that something he mentioned during his stay in our village. He said he spoke of his desire to bring change to a place called Razahan. That is where Jibiki decided to begin her search. So she boarded a ferry there by the way of Limsa Laminsa with her trusted sword and shield close at hand. That's how you will know her. So the only paladin probably in that area. She agreed to stay in Razahan to gather information until Aid arrived. I know nothing of the place, but it's likely she could be found in a marketplace of some sort. Please bring our treasure and my daughter safely home. Yeah, I was able to sleep early and got up really early, so I'm still out of it. Once again, I forgot to make coffee. I just wanted to get this done. Maybe I'll do an hour of the story of this, and then go make coffee real quick, and then come back. So I need to wake up. I need to stay awake all day. Hey, Torai Swordsman. Oh, are you looking for me? Whatsoever for? Ronald, and you say my mother sent you? I take it she's already explained the details, such as how we know next to nothing of the treasure and its capabilities. We have only the legends passed down through our forebears to go on. They spoke of a withdrawal of an owl that once terrorized the forest, whose soul is sealed within the perch of the apex. Details have only become more vague as the mist of time obscure the treasure's origin. Even our village elder remembers not but an ominous warning uttered by those who once wielded its magics. The master of the apex shall be showered with good fortune, yet leave only sorrow in their wake. That sounds like a luck property, a luck altered power. It's clear that despite owing their safety to the apex's power, our forebears viewed it as something to be feared. It must be truly immense. It's not a power; it's a probability. It's probability of manipulation, probably. Like, it'll make you lucky, but it'll cause harm to everyone around you. Now onto the matter of the thief. Even during our brief acquaintance, he may plan his desire to bring change to Razahan. Naturally, I've started my search here and have been seeking anyone who expressed dissatisfaction with the status quo. Sure enough, I soon heard stories of a recent arrival, a self-styled savior of Razahan, who proclaims that he will lead the city to greatness and calls himself the Justicator. He's apparently taken on the burden of personally exterminating the beasts which infest Fafnir's wilds. He made a great show of claiming he alone is equal to the task. While he certainly draws a crowd with his boasting, they only watch with morbid curiosity as he sets off into the jungle alone. I realize this could have nothing to do with our problem, but even the smallest lead must be pursued. I've heard he often gives his speeches at the region's smaller settlements. So, shall we go to see this Justicator for ourselves? Yeah, it's decided. I hear, Yadimad would be a good place to start. Hopefully, there we can find our next crumb of the clue. Huh. That would be the best thing to do, is just show off your grand power to the smaller settlements and build an army from that. You know. Ronald, we're in luck. This boy saw the very man we seek. It seems he gave the same grand speech about saving the people, claiming that danger lurked nearby before venturing forth to combat it alone. Yet the Radiant host could not well stand idle if there truly were beasts afoot. So one of them followed him. All we need to do is pick up their trail. And I ran towards the shroud, but you might be able to spot him from Kajuria's footsteps. You can see the whole forest from there. Thanks. You've been very helpful, so Ronald, let's head there and see what we can see. Yep. Oh, wait. Oh, God. Well. Yeah, I forgot I had this out. Down to this. It was not easy to get this mount. Doing Zadnor's, what is it? Not Zadnor. It's the other one. It was like a savage dungeon, and it's like, ugh. Okay. Whoops. Do I have the Dawn Trail one? No. Oh wow. Alright, enough of that. Now then, let us begin our search. Since I've never actually seen the Justicator, I suggest we find the Radiant Soldier first. They do all wear similar armor after all. How do we know the Justicator is not wearing the same armor as well? Dang. Oh wow. Oh no. But what happened? We better get down there quickly. He's dead, isn't he? Not to worry, Rana. He's unconscious, but otherwise appears unharmed. Okay, so we can rule out that the artifact trades lives for luck. Yep, it's a probability. Yep, I knew it. It's a probability. What happened? Like I said, it's a probability type deal. We heard you came here in pursuit of the Justicator. Do you remember anything? Yes, I eventually found him. He was confronting that fiend that now lies dead. At last, the Grace's Razahan. I shall bring unending peace to this beleaguered land. You are brave to follow in my path. Few indeed possess the mettle to even consider the terrorists which threaten our home, let alone stand against them. Yet, courageous though you may be, you are far too weak to fell a beast so mighty. Quit this place with your life while you are yet able. You're kidding me. I am of the Radiant Host. If I ran from such meager prey, I would become a laughingstock. How bold to look death in the eye without flinching. I doubt not your conviction to defend Razahan, yet I believe it pales before mine. O Apex, bestow upon me your divine might. Do you not heed my call? I require your power more than... It's something supposed to happen. You don't know how to use it completely. Why am I yet unworthy? Perhaps there's a button on this. This is not what I expected. Besides, I'll dispose of this past. Just give me a moment. It cannot end like this. Be made a fool. Come on, you moldy trinket. Work. Form me into the hero of Ross. What? Oh. Oh. He brandished that idol and became reaped in a mysterious light. Then boulders started falling from the sky. Down they came, one after the other. That's when I must have been struck unconscious. I recall only faintly, but I think I heard the man mumbling quite excitedly, as if he had come upon a sudden revelation, and as if he was overtaken by madness. Weird. It seems he got away unscathed. Either he had an incredible stroke of luck, or whatever he was beseeching to actually answered. Did it as I suspected? This Justicator is the self-same thief who stole the perch of the Apex. But no doubt he's long departed from here. First, I'll escort this fellow back to Yaldamad and keep a close eye on him. Head wounds can have dreadful after effects. Yeah, it seems to be a thing that's happening to everyone as of late. Yeah. So what it does is it grants you absolute luck in a way that's like, okay, a good thing can happen, but like I said, anyone around you, it suddenly tacks bad luck on them, which means a bad effect will happen to them. So, in order to balance itself out. The soldier made his way to Razahan to make a formal report. And what an odd report it will be. His account seemed to align with legends of the treasure's power. The wielder escaped unharmed and brought ruin to those around him. Could those falling rocks have been a freak accident? I'm not so sure. You won't believe it. He came back. Who came back? The Justicator? Yes, not long after you left. He said he beat up a monster that knocked out a Radiant, and he was laughing his head off. Did he really do that? Is he really stronger than the Radiant? Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. We'll just keep you vaguely. We'll just keep you thinking. Well, my mate can't stop talking about him. He wants to be just like the Justicator. Just a car. His mom and dad weren't happy about that, though. I'd advise you and your friend to look for a different role model, but we thank you for telling us what happened. Well, there is one less fiend talking about. I suppose he may have been simply testing the treasure's capabilities, and as far as we know, he's yet to use its power to evil ends. I find his motivations a mystery. To steal the perch of the apex, by force, only to come here to Tavnair and use it for good? It makes no sense. That's the idea. Use it to gain the trust of people, and then build an army off that, and then take on the dragon that rules this place. You heard tell of this passage of the Unbound, yes? Many have ventured to Toyolo, claiming to be their victims. And here they would be saviors? If he had such noble goals, then why did he stoop to such devious deception? What could he be plotting? But that's neither here nor there. He stole from my people, and that misdeed can't be forgiven. The perch of the apex helped us win peace. By its might, our forebears built the foundation of the lives we now lead. Until recently, it stood silent, a symbol of our pride as a people. It reminded us that we carved out a home within that inhospitable wilderness. Being trusted with its protection is a great honor. I was so proud of my father when the elders chose him, so proud to be his daughter. Yet since the day it was stolen, some of the other villagers made their disdain towards him only too clear. I can't bear it. That's why I must get it back, to restore my village's pride and my father's reputation. There is still so much we don't know about the Justicator. But we have to assume he's learned to wield the Apex's power. I can't say whether those falling rocks have anything to do with it, but I won't discount it outright. I'll continue looking into his whereabouts. While we still have so many questions, with both of us working together, we'll find answers soon enough. '92, a brand of justice. Ronald, I'm afraid there's been some developments that are less than encouraging. News of the Justicator's actions have spread throughout the city, and with each retelling, his deeds become more valorous. The young citizens, particularly, seem to view him as something of an idol. That's the idea. Despite the creatures he hunts, posing no real danger, he would paint them as mighty beasts in need of felling. Of course, the Radiant hosts are far too busy to trouble themselves clearing every pest that casts a sideway glance at the city gates. Yet the Justicar has twisted circumstances to his advantage. He proclaims to anyone who will listen that the Radiant hosts shriek with terror before these beasts. He's the only one who can eradicate them, though you might expect such claims to be dismissed as wild ramblings. It seems no few people have fallen for his ploy. The whispers of his exploits among the youth have practically grown into a clamor. Yet we mustn't be discouraged, for his increasing fame only makes it easier for us to sniff out his trail. And where is better to start than Razahan? I'll see you there, Ronald. Wait, what? Oh. I forgot it's over here. Given how large the city is, let's split up and cover more ground. Already have a destination in mind, High Crucible. I hear the alchemists there can concoct all manner of tinctures and powders, including those which can help in detecting traces of energies left behind by magics and enchanting tools. Falling rocks have inadvertently marked locations where the Justicar has performed one of his feats, and I believe an alchemical mixture can help us determine if their presence is the work of the treasure. Alright. I'm hardly an expert in such concoctions, though, so I seek advice at the High Crucible. While I'm doing that, I would ask that you go to the Hall of the Radiant Host and see if they have any new information on the Justicars whereabouts. Does that plan sound agreeable to you? Great. Now that we both have our tasks, let's get to them. I'll meet you back here once my business is done. I mean, look at this. Look how clean it is. There's no cyclists because I did all. If I'm right, I did all the Dawn Trail quest lines. Like everything for Dawn Trail. Just what I need to do for all of it. Preoccupied radio. I'm tired of hearing about this Justicar. Its popularity among the city's younglings is quickly becoming a cause for concern. Try as we might to refute his claims that the radio hosts are allowing monstrous beasts to run amok our check. You know how young minds are. Impressionable and difficult to change once set. We initially disregarded him as a boastful eccentric, but his alarming sway over the populace can no longer be ignored. We are at present considering whether to open a formal investigation into his activities. You and this ally of yours have done well in your search thus far. You even have a working theory about the falling stones, quite impressive. Several of our number have encountered him during their patrols only to lose sight of him under a hail of rocks. Such incidences have become all too quickly, and many in our ranks demand we act. For now, I'm afraid this is all the help I can offer. Please share what I've told you with your companion, and together we may yet unmask the Justicar. It's heartening to know that the Radiant hosts are taking this seriously. Thank you for speaking with them, Ronald. I have good tidings as well. I explained the situation to the alchemist, and they provided a powder that should help detect traces of magic in the surrounding area environment. I say help because the powder reacts only faintly on its own. To function properly, it requires the skills of one practiced in the arcana arts. Luckily, I have you. I've committed the locations of all surrounding sightings of the Justicar to memory, and the closest to us was the perfumed rise. Let's hope this powder works as intended. Whee! The Justicar was sighted near here. I don't see any other conspicuous stones around, so I sprinkled the powder over this one. Now, concentrate your focus, or inner eye, or whatever it is, that the locus of your power, and see if you can't detect any unnatural forces. We must call upon the colors. Paint. Just dump paint on it and, show itself. What about this? Okay, I don't remember it being this trivial to do that, just to work magic. It's not a normal rock, though. Oh. So, were you able to detect anything? I knew you could do it. So, because there are no crystals in the rock, the energy you detected must be the remnants of some kind of spell. Is that right? And taking the story of the radiant we rescued previously into account, we can conclude that the Justicar uses the treasure to call those stones down from the sky. Hmm. So, at least we now have an inkling of its true nature. Even so, not every question has been answered. The Radiant told us that even as the Justicar stood before the creature, he'll have trouble calling forth the Apex's power at first. My father once said that the perch of the Apex is much like the wand he used to weave his magics. Of course, the main difference between them is the unique nature of the essence stored within the treasure. Hmm. I know little of such arcane instruments, but you must be quite familiar with them. How do you use yours? Oh, it's paint. I channel ether into it. I see, even with the right instruments, spellcasting requires the use of specific techniques. The Justicar seems to lack any such expertise. So how did he tap into the treasure's power? I suppose the perch of the Apex possesses some unique method of activation. Prayer. You have to have faith. It literally was, he was begging for it to do something, and it hurt him. When I spoke to the representative of the other tribes about their treasures, no one mentioned special techniques being required. Not that the relics should have much in common to begin with. Yeah, I noticed that. This is the first one that actually you someone is that the person is having trouble trying to use the device, use the artifact. You two, did you see an Aura girl pass through here by herself? I'm afraid not. What happened? Wait, I recognize you both. The hero of the final days and our recent visitor from Terra. Apologies for the imposition. May I beg your assistance? Of course. It's all that Justicar's fault. The girl said she was off to join that fool's crusade and ran off the Yamana before anyone could stop her. Uh-oh. Her mother begged us to find her, but if she's following the Justicar, she could be anywhere. You see, he's been sighted at locations scattered all over Thavnair. We can't stand here looking at rocks while a girl is in danger, especially if the Justicar is involved. We have to help. Yeah, we got to do something now. That'd be much appreciated. We're searching places where the Justicar's been spotted before, so perhaps we could start where he hasn't been seen. Good idea. As far as I know, he hasn't been sighted at the northern shores. Come on, Ronald. Oh, I realize they really haven't said anything about what the next story is supposed to be about. Oh no. Oh no, I have to actually fight. Oh, this is gonna be fascinating. Hammer? Go. Okay. I did it. God, I have not played this job in a while. I heard fighting, so I came as fast as I could. It's a good thing you arrived in time to save the girl. Thank you, mister. Thank you. I'm glad you're safe, but your mother must be worried sick. You shouldn't wander off like that. Especially not to look for a trickster like the Justicar. What, you mean he's a bad man? Yes, exactly. He stole an important treasure from my village, but now he's using it to make himself look brave. But he needs it to kill the monsters to protect us. That's no excuse for stealing. He might have fooled you younglings, but the Radiant Host knows what he's up to. But he said he'd save us from the monsters. He's our hero. The Radiant said we shouldn't be scared. But we all know the Justicar is the one who keeps us safe. We don't need the Radiant anymore. No hero can save the world alone. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say bad things about the Radiant. They protected everyone in the final days. I guess I forgot how much they care about us. I'm sorry too. I shouldn't have spoken to you like that. After all you've been through. You said the Justicar is a thief and a trickster, but I hope it's not true. He's my hero. Well, I'd best escort her back to Yonamount. I'll meet you there later, Ronald. The girl and her mother are reunited, and I think we can both give ourselves a pat on the back. They're on their way now to inform the radio host that all is well. Yay! I would like to apologize for before. I let my emotions get the better of me. And Harinji, that poor girl, when she was hardly to blame for anything. I really should have been scolding myself. Ronald, there's something I neglected to tell you before. The man who now calls himself the Justicar came to us in the guise of a worldly merchant. He was eager to ask about the perch of the Apex and its history, and I was equally eager to tell him, not even considering what he might do with the information. That's not your fault. I'm so proud of my father for being appointed as its guardian. I suppose I was trying to impress this stranger out of sheer vanity. That vanity led to my father being attacked and the treasure being stolen from under our noses. I have no choice but to make amends for my mistake and bring it back. Yet some are convinced that the Justicar acts only to serve the greater good. I couldn't accept that he might not be as rotten as I thought, and lashed out at the wrong person. From now on, I can't let my emotions cloud my judgment. I must remain calm and look at the facts for what they are. And the facts say that the Justicar has done no harm to the people at Thabnair. But he did harm to you. So, even so, The organization he serves, the passage of the unbound, is evil to its very core. If its actions at my village are not villainy, I don't know what is. The situation is fraught with contradictions. I still don't know what to think. What about you, Ronald? Even if he hasn't, his actions are stirring unrest. I agree. He speaks of justice and heroism with great bluster. Yet there's something we're missing. Thank you, Ronald, for your wise words. I sometimes find it difficult to keep my heart from skewing my perspective. So I'm grateful that you're here to help me see clarity. So, it seems our objective is unchanged. We track down the man who stole my people's sacred treasure. Whatever his intentions may be, unraveling them comes secondary to finding the man himself. I'll continue to pour my every effort into the search. Just stop by from time to time and I may have something new to share with you. Oh. The seeds of popularity. Arnold, I hope you've been well. Since last we spoke, the Justicar has been busy felling fiends all across Favnair, leaving a trail of witnesses behind in his wake. More than a few have reported seeing stones falling from the sky, which all but confirmed our theory that the treasure is causing the phenomenon. The stories share one more particular commonality. It seems the pests he hunts have all been of the Seakin variety. Why he avoids beasts of flesh and blood is yet a mystery. It bears mentioning that each of these eyewitness accounts come from people who were rescued by the Justicar, who invariably appear just as these creatures attack. What? Invariably appears. Oh, in fact, the Justicar has been there to save the day in every single instance of Seakin-related mischief. Awfully suspicious, if you ask me. And I'm not the only one who thinks so. Some among the Radiant's host suggests that the Justicar is planning these assaults somehow, so he alone can reap the glory from thwarting them. I agree. I think this should be our next avenue of investigation. Many of these incidences occurred near the Giant Skull grounds, so we should start our search there. If we can find one of these monstrous plants before it hides hapless prey, we may be able to shed light upon the Justicar's methods. Time is of the essence, so let's leave at once. I wonder. I wonder if the reason why the rocks are only happening is because if he uses it on flesh and blood type creatures, something worse can happen. The probability of something bigger happening. Like, what would happen if you used it against a person? Or he just doesn't like Seekins. He doesn't like the plant type monsters that exist in this. Any moving bushes? Slithering vines? Not here. In any case, Ronald, I'll search the western path. Why don't you search the east? Okay? If you see something, don't strike to kill. Weaken it, then capture it with this rope. We'll learn much from a live specimen. Oh, look at the secret. Look at you. Yes, you are. Sorry. Alright, be careful. The chocobo's gonna run. Are you serious? How weak do you want it? Oh. Before it allow you to do it halfway. Come! Oh, it's gone. Found one. Look at it. It was red. Nice. I see plenty of fauna roaming about, but the flora all seem to be a rooted to the ground variety. Perhaps my hunch was incorrect. So. You found one. In fact, this is exactly as an eyewitness is described. Why don't you keep it for the time being? Bring it to the Great Work. Then I'll ask my acquaintance there to examine it with all haste. What? You got acquaintances already in the Great Work? But I'm an alchemist. I can look at it, right? Why can't we do that? Why can't we use our expertise on this stuff? Yeah. It's been a while since I've been here. Yeah. Mistress Tabiki told me what to expect. Well then, let's see the thing. Here he is. Look at him. Oh, we just pulled him out of our pocket. That's hilarious. Oh, I didn't expect it to be so diminutive. If Mistress Tabiki's intuition is correct, then I expect some interesting discoveries are in store. You brought me quite the fascinating specimen indeed. I can say for certain that this creature's growth isn't natural in the slightest. Biologically, it's still but a sapling, as you can tell by its size. Yet it is the result of a specific alchemical mixture which is used to spur the growth of seeds and mycelium to an unnatural degree. So it was homegrown. So he's been growing. That's why he's been only attacking plant type monsters, because they're the only ones that can be grown at an exceedingly rate. The agents have a side effect of making the creatures more aggressive, which explains why such a small specimen would so boldly attack beings larger than itself. Yet the solution requires ingredients most rare, and the cost of procuring enough to synthesize it would be beyond the means of most. So whoever is behind this, they are likely well healed. As for the creatures themselves, they were all grown artificially. Perhaps that explains why most of the incidents involve small speaking. Rather than wait for them to mature naturally, the Justicar must have accelerated their growth so that we could deploy huge numbers over a short span of time. In fact, this plan likely requires they be small, weak foes in order to guarantee his victory. After all, the great Justicar could hardly be expected to bear the blemish of defeat. With these new details brought to light, it's almost certain he's staging these attacks on the common folk. Now we have a new perspective to guide our search. Perhaps you should return to Yanamat. I hear the Justicar is the talk of the village, and they doubtless have stories to share. A splendid idea, thank you. Your findings have brought us a step closer to unmasking that villain. Let's hurry to Yanama. The more accounts we have of the Justicar, the better our chances of predicting his next move. Yay. Oh, yeah, this one's a lot longer than I thought. Rest assured, the Radiant hosts are well aware of the Justicar. Every day we see more reports of him combating beasts in the surrounding wilderness. These encounters were never on well-traveled roads, it seems. They occur in remote regions that we scarcely patrol, along routes that are only used by a small number of merchants and porters. We've concluded that the Justicar either has uncommon knowledge of the behavioral patterns of these creatures, or that they keep close company with a merchant who travels those obscure paths. Yeah. Well, we just found out he just plants them there. Literally. Oh, you're hungry to learn more of the Justicar? He's amazing. I was lucky enough to catch a glimpse of him on the road leading here, facing down a fearsome creature. I don't know how he did it, but he called down rocks from the sky to knock that thing flat. The Radiant hosts were away on patrol, so if he hadn't come to our rescue, that brute would have marched right into our homes. He shouted that he was the savior of Razahan. He even waved at me. Oh, he looked so impressive with the sun shining behind him. Don't tell me you've come chasing that half-baked savior. The younglings might be taken in by his honeyed words, but anyone with experience can see he's nothing but a charlatan, and I have a story to prove it. A merchant I know took a tumble as he was transporting his goods. Not long after comes the Justicar, looking chivalrous as you please in his shining armor. But did he offer a helping hand? No, he ran off with nearly a glance backwards. He may go on about slaying beasts, but a real hero would never ignore someone in need, even if they were just suffering from scraped knees and a bruised ego. That's true. Ronald, do you have a moment? I have a little trouble here. I sought this merchant out because I was told he dealt with the alchemists and the great works. I thought he might know something about the Justicar, but when I asked, he's been like this ever since. I was just surprised that you would ask me about that madman. What connection could he possibly have with me? The fiends he fights are grown with rare alchemical materials, and we think he may be staging these encounters. Since you deal in such wares, I wonder if you might know how he came into their possession. I don't know what you're talking about. Fair? I mean, I've never spoken to my man. It's him. Wait, never. I very much doubt that. Perhaps he'll be more receptive to questioning from you, Ronald. He seems to have an intimate knowledge of trade routes in alchemy. Who taught him, I wonder? Now, any merchant with a nose for profit has good relationships with the alchemist. But you were thinking any one of us could be in league with Verizon. Oh, you say? Who is that, I ask? What? No, that's not. No, that's my name. I'd be a fool to continue this trade any longer. My friend, Verizon, is the one you know as the Justicar. To be suddenly confronted with his litany of misdeeds, I am quite lost my composure. Oh God. The father himself. You're his father? Then do you know how he came into possession of such rare materials and knowledge? Aye. He stole them from me. My most valuable materials and my most precious maps. Yet I was the one who chose to hide that fact and bear the blame for the consequences. What can you tell us about him as a person? I was obsessed with tales of legendary heroes, even from a young age. I paid a great deal of money to have him tutored in the art of the bow. He became quite skilled at it, in fact, but not quite as skilled as his arrogance led him to believe. Due to this, and perhaps a lack of ambition, he never aspired to true greatness. Instead, he came to rely upon fanciful equipment and exotic potions, rather than honing what skill he had. It pained me to see him fall into disillusionedness. But he would brook no counsel. So several years ago, I gave him enough coin to support his lavish lifestyle and told him never to speak with me again. He didn't. Until but recently, when he darkened my doorstep once more. And that was when he stole your goods. Although I would have willingly given them if he had asked, he was rambling almost incoherently, saying that his heroic deeds as the Justicar had caught the eye of someone named Abiali, leader of the Passage of the Unbound, whoever they are. He claimed that under the guidance of his newfound allies, he had attained a great power enough to eclipse all heroes who have come before and shall come after, as he puts it. It seems he gives what money he still has to these people. You'd think that, for all his fanciful words, he is only deemed to grasp at hollow glory, all at the expense of Razahan. There is no greater shame as a father. Given what we know of this shadowy group, they most likely aim to sow discontent through Verizon's deeds. He may be so blinded by his own desire for admiration that he can't see whose hands are pulling the strings. You're saying that he's being used? If that's true, then I can no longer remain silent, despite what shame it may bring. I see now that sharing my story may be the only way to save my son. Indeed, I suggest you tell the Radiant Host at once. Of course, we'll be pouring our every effort into stopping him. Thank you for giving me direction. I didn't imagine our meeting would end this way. Truth be told, I'm not entirely unsympathetic towards Verizon. I basked in my father's reflected glory while having none of my own to speak of. The glory of Verizon seeks is similarly false. I too shall visit the Radiant Host to have them spread word of the Justicator's true nature. If the people are wise to his trickery, they will be far more likely to aid us. He'll soon learn that a legend built on lies is no match for true heroism. That word. Alright, I'm gonna take a quick break. I need to get something to drink. I need coffee. Again. It's another day of coffee. Alright, I'll be right back.